All right, click the links. Join the channel here over. Subscribe so I got a mailbox. Want to mail me some comics. So Brie Larson's giant opening looking a bit hairy. Massive disappointment in Brie Larson's opening. Trying to think of vagina puns because I am 12-year-old at heart. So Brie Larson, in case you forgot her little kerfuffle from a few years ago, is the anti-white, racist, ageist, sexist who is tired of the wrong people reviewing her movies. How dare movie reviewers review movies? Well, they're the wrong type of people. What are you saying, Brie? Whatever. It's just what happens. Like, this is just more left-wing Hollywood nonsense. These people are so deep in an echo chamber. They really have. I mean, it's the remember during the Wu flu when who's that? That Gal Gadot and a bunch of other idiots were singing "Imagine" from their $10 million, $20 million mansions. Yeah, imagine. Yeah, imagine being a poor, disgusting, normal person. Ah, you're so middle class. Then she was in that monkey movie. It was a pretty decent movie, and she did fine in it. And then she did Captain Marvel, which I fell asleep through when I sailed the high seas for it. But it was a huge success, more so overseas. Domestically, it only did like 426 million, which is okay, but foreign it did, a lot more than that. But the only reason it hit was because that was Marvel at its peak. That was nestled in between the two biggest movies ever, I think Infinity something and Endgame, which, no offense to the Marvel fans out there, those were just kind of mediocre movies. If you go back and watch them, and you go back and look at like all the Marvel stuff over the past 20 years, like those final two movies were, they're all right. But I mean, there was stuff that came before it that honestly I thought was a little bit better. But it's like all in total, it's like they're all just Marvel movies. None of them are trying to do anything other than just be a bunch of flashy CGI nonsense. And like they barely did that well. I mean, it was like they missed a lot of opportunities, and they had like even the thing with Iron Man, which just started out well, but you had Gwyneth Paltrow in the role, and she was kind of too old for the role because you should have had a romance, but you needed a younger actor to have that romance really work out well. I mean, there's a lot of stuff they could have done, they just didn't do it because of political correctness. They didn't want to like have somebody too young for him, but it's like he can't have kids with a 40 to 50-year-old woman. You're going to have to get a 20-year-old in there. But that just wouldn't have been politically correct. And then the idiots on Twitter would have lost their mind that who's the guy, Tony Stark character, 40 or 50 when he's in that role in the first Iron Man would be with like a 22-year-old. It's like, yeah, but I mean, if you want to have a romance and have him have kids with her, she's got to be 20. She can't be 40. Don't get me wrong. Gwyneth Paltrow did a great job. She's beautiful in those roles, but if like romance has to go somewhere. It usually goes with kids, and it's like that's part of the deep connection to subconscious storytelling is to carry on. And when you have the thing is, it also kind of signaled the end of Marvel, and it's just this kind of left-hand dystopian path of you have this like empty, barren womb of these two people who the only possible relationship they can have is just a sexual relationship, but it's just like. I mean, the symbolism, I don't know if I'm like people are getting offended by this, but it's like the symbolism of pumping life into an empty womb. It's just so futile and dystopian, or at least with a younger girl, it's like, yeah, it's not great to have older men match up with younger chicks, for societally speaking, but at least for a movie, it's like you can carry on new life that way. And there's a deep part of human, the subconscious that looks at that and goes, yeah, we have to see life carried on. And when you see two 40, 50-year-olds just they might have a great sexual relationship, it's just all so futile and pointless if you're not I know that's a little bit heavy for a Marvel stuff, but it just kind of popped up there. Anyway, it signaled the end of Marvel and the movies post that Infinity or Endgame, post that peak, if not done well, with some actual bombs. Black Widow, The Eternals, Blue Beetle, Ant-Man, Shang-Chi, and I think there's a couple others that came out. And similar happened for DC. The whole stupid genre, Suicide Squad 1 and 2, Birds of Prey, and it seems like there's a lot of bombs across Marvel and DC, which is a problem for the companies because shifting gears away from that genre, those IPs, what they have invested so heavily in the past 20 years, and the marketing and the merchandising that goes with it is like it's a real serious thing. Just shift gears out of that, so they're probably not going to do that. Probably just going to try to stay in that genre and fix it, which they could if they wanted to, but they won't because of political correctness and globalism, and like that's not who they are. They didn't get into movies to make good movies. They got into movies to make propaganda, because fixing it would mean stopping the woke cancer, and they're just not going to do that. That's not who they are. Those aren't our values. Making good movies and selling them to the public and giving them a little bit of escapist entertainment, the hero's journey, all that kind of like guy battles a dragon, meets the girl, go off on the adventure, then come back and have kids, and the kids go on the next adventure. You know, the classic Piers Anthony Xanth type of storyline. Yeah, we don't want that, because we're the sinister path. We want a depopulation agenda. Yeah. Maybe. Oh, I better not blow a joke about. I mean, what they did to those stones. I was going to say something about Hollywood, but you really can't. I guess it would be like might be interpreted incorrectly, even if it obviously is just humorous hyperbole. So it means stopping the woke cancer, and they're not going to do that. It's just going to be more blonde man bad in every movie, or girl power, or brown people good and the people of the light are bad, like in Black Adams, which I think actually lost money with The Rock, and it's like, oh hey, British people in the Middle East. And the British people are the problem. Why are they there? Is it the United Nations? Is it England? Oh, they're just there colonializing all over our faces, and then they're just extracting our resources and colonies and resources. And it's like, you're just repeating what you hear these woke professors talk about. You don't know what you're talking about. So are they English? Are they there in violation of law, or are they there with the permission of the government to do some kind of trade agreement? Are you the United Nations? It's like, why exactly are they there? Don't ask questions. They're just English, and thus they're bad, and the brown people are good. It doesn't, I mean, you're talking about the Middle East, because the English are not going to be the problem there. I mean, there's several groups in that region of the world who are very clearly the problem. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of getting involved 10,000 miles away, but like, the English are not the problem. This current year, you know that, right? It's like, we just have to make the English the bad guys. Just accept it and roll. Colonizers and resources. But like, are they there with like a government contract? Why? Like, is it like China and Africa? No, don't mention China and the elephant tusks and the rhinos. Like, you know, that's just the Chinese and the Africans. Yeah, we have to somehow take pictures of white hunters and somehow make them the bad guys. But they're not the bad guys. Like, they go on game preserves and pay $50,000 to hunt like an old sick tiger, and that money pays to the anti-poaching elephant to keep the endangered animals alive. It's actually like the hunting fees pay for all that. So like, the bad guys are actually the African poachers and the Chinese. Yeah, we can't talk about that ever, because China will close its doors to our market. So we just have to post a picture of a white hunter. But I said, it's like, you're just lying. The hunters are actually, they're paying money to preserve the game preserve. Yeah, don't focus on the rhinos or the elephants, because there's no white people bad in that narrative. But that's the truth. You maybe focus on the truth. Yeah, we're not going to do that, friendo. Anyway, Black Adams, which lost money. Hollywood hates you, and finally people are slowly starting to catch on to this. You guys really have a thing with the green and blue eyes. I mean, if I had to narrow it down to one constant, it would be eye color. Eye color, and then secondary would be hair color. Where if they want to signal somebody's bad, it's light eyes and light hair. So you're saying like the most European features are always portrayed as a negative? You got it in one, bucko. Gosh. So the thing is, now we do have more alternatives in modern day. I mean, you're listening to one asshole on less than $500 worth of equipment making videos for, just for fun, shits and giggles, really. So social media is more entertaining than these soy pussy movies. People talking about how shitty these movies are is actually more fun than paying $15 to watch the movies. Dear Hollywood, can we take all these anti-white movies and turn them around so you show how awesome European people are? Maybe make the bad guys Black, Asian, Middle Eastern for once? Sir, that is a bridge too far. Like I said, I won't ever pay Hollywood again. Most of it's not even worth sailing the high seas for. Disney or Warner Brothers or Hollywood in general, it seems like it's finally starting to die for the whole industry. Anyway, so Brie Larson's giant opening is not looking too fresh. So what is this film? This is the Birds of Prey follow-up, Bomb. What does it offer? Well, Brie Larson and 2 diversity purse puppies. So 3 anti-white purse puppy Mary Sues who have to battle evil blonde-haired, blue-eyed sexist men, like she did in that Captain Marvel movie. So what does it offer people? 3 unattractive diversity hires with 0 sex appeal. At least the costumes are going to have them completely covered up, and girl power. And I have to assume more blonde man bad storylines. I don't even know what the movie's. Like I said, if you want to pay me, if you want to pay for the ticket to see the movie, I'll see it. But other than that, and I'm gonna have to sail the high seas for it. The thing is, it's coming after a half a dozen Marvel bombs. So the movie, after the tax credit, it was like $275 million, but they filmed it in England. They got some tax credit for it. So it's like $230 million out of their own pocket, plus $100 million in advertising. So it's got to make over $500 million, more like 600 maybe, to solidly break even. And the thing is, I know these predictions are low. It will, I promise you, it will break even. Predictions are for low opening, but the difference between this and Birds of Prey is Brie Larson has a weirdly dedicated fan base of her single cat lady army, where Margot Robbie didn't have that same fan base, because I think her fans were male, because they were coming off that first Suicide Squad movie, and like, what was she known for? Her acting abilities, her ability to... No, it was just that she had a good body, she was blonde, and she wore tiny shorts and a tank top. That was the same appeal with Scarlett Johansson. It's just TNA. Her whole thing was youth, TNA, and then she got older and started to cover up. So that Black Widow movie was a bomb. Hollywood people are frankly delusional. Barbie was a huge hit because it was 2 beautiful blonde people running around babbling about some stupid feminist talking points that nobody really believes. If you want a hit movie, find 2 attractive blonde people. Put them in a romantic comedy. That's it. The whiter the movie, the better. Get rid of all the diversity hiring purse puppies, and the movie will do better. People hate diversity. More people just need to get comfortable admitting that. It's cringe. The more blonde people, the better. Anyway, the predictions for this movie keep dropping, but they're not factoring in the vagina variable, which is going to make things slippery. For some reason, women like Brie Larson, maybe they want to see themselves as her. The only thing I say about her is that she was doing fitness videos, and you could see her, running around doing calisthenics or whatever. She's very physically fit. So, I mean, credit to her for that. And there are enough cucks and soy boys who are on the Marvel DC type of stuff who will watch these stupid Disney movies, probably because they hate themselves, or they just want to enjoy the genre while it lasts, because it's not going to last forever. So, mark my words, I promise that this will not bomb. It will cross $600 million, and it will make a tiny profit. But that's probably also finally going to be the end of Brie Larson in this role. And as for Marvel, I guess they just keep making these stupid CGI movies to try to get a younger audience on board. Or it's probably time to start swapping out the actors. Not because they're aging out so much, but just because it's like the movies are just... I think you want a new audience, so I'd find actors who are like in their early 20s to play the roles or something, so they can age in with the movies for next 10 years. But they're not going to stop with this non-white push of these kind of diversity movies. They would rather Disney go out of business first before they started to make the beautiful people of the light look good. They've got all sorts of excuses in this. They're talking about the writer's strike is hurting promotion. Fair enough. And the Comic Cons aren't pushing this for some reason. I thought the Comic Cons were... Does that have to do with the writer's strike or because of the Wu Flu? I thought the whole Wu Flu thing was over and all the conventions are back on. I don't know. Like, they started to bring back masks, and I'm not sure where they're going with that kind of narrative. It's an election year, so that has something to do with all this kind of nonsense. Then you add in the hashtag pure blood over here. Then you add in the damage that the Disney Plus shows have done. It's kind of oversaturated the market with really low budget, just kind of like daytime soap opera level of quality movies, streaming shows, even though they're spending money on these shows. It's not, they've got budgets to make these shows. And it's weird because you look at The Mandalorian, and The Mandalorian looked like it was really well done. And you look at some of the Disney shows, and they just, it feels like it's amateur hour, and it doesn't, you're like, they spent $20 million an episode on some of these shows, and you watch all the Disney streaming, the Marvel, the She-Hulks, or the Star Wars, and it's like, is something missing with these shows, where I think it's kind of hurting the brand to have these kind of streaming shows more so than it's helping. God, that She-Hulk was so... the first 5 minutes of She-Hulk, a blonde guy walks in and he's made to be a jerk, or just like stupid and incompetent and just ineffectual and just a cuck. It's like, first 5 minutes, season 1, episode 1. Nice job, Disney. Anyway, then they mentioned something about Taylor Swift is somehow throwing off the projections because she's got a movie coming out or a concert tour that they turned into a movie or something. I don't know how that makes anything. So if they were, if yeah, that's exactly what people want to see. If they were smart, they would put her in the movie and make her some kind of alien. But she's, obviously European, and they hate that. So instead, we get these two fugly purse puppies. One of who looks like she's gained a few pounds. The Ms. Marvel character, she looks like she could lose. She could cut back on the carbs a little bit. So, hey, Disney, I have an idea. Why don't you take the black and the other character and swap them out for blonde European Nordic types? They love race swapping so much, but they always, they love it in one direction. They always erase the blonde and red-haired Europeans, usually for Africans, who globally are a majority, and blonde and red-haired Europeans are a minority, especially redhead people. So why are you swapping out the minority for the majority? Oh, no, those are the minorities. Not globally. Europeans are less than 10% of the world's population. And blondes and red hairs are even smaller than that. Green and blue eyes are very, very precious and rare. Why are you erasing them for something that's much more common? Diversity! But you're actually getting rid of diversity. Everything you say is a lie. Well, yes, because we're reptilians. We're lizard demon hybrids. Yeah, hyperbole aside, at least figuratively, spiritually, they are, at least figuratively, demons. What was that Alex Jones song parody somebody wrote about Hillary Clinton smelling like sulfur? Like, yeah, history. Hillary Clinton's actually fascinating. I kind of first got into her. I was reading this history of Nixon, and she worked on that case, and she got fired for being dishonest, for denying Nixon his, Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights, or no, Fifth Amendment rights or due process. And so her boss, the DA, and the federal DA in the case, I fired Hillary Clinton because she was dishonest. Like, so she ran for president. And so she was, I don't know if she got disbarred after that or what. Anyway, so they love race swapping, but they love race swapping the tiny, tiny fraction of the precious European minority, the people of the light, for, black or Middle Eastern or Chinese. What are you, some kind of istophobe? But I just gave you the facts on how the blonde, the red-haired, the light eyes, green and blue-eyed people are the minority. Everything the mainstream Hollywood media says is a lie. That can't be. I always trust the media and government. Well, I didn't trust the media and government, which is why I'm glad I didn't trust them over the past 3 years, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, why don't they start swapping out these characters for get rid of this chick and put in some beautiful blonde, Swedish type of girl. Like, oh, you sweet summer child. That's not why Hollywood is in existence. Are you saying they're actually lizards? They might be. They might be. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I got a mailbox. Mail me some comics, and I will see you guys all next episode.